The Kodiak, he now wades into the water, and he's got his eye on me. Let's say the camera here is my wife and myself in our Zodiac, and he starts swimming toward the Zodiac. And we don't see him swim, right? We just see the head getting closer and closer and closer. And I am thrilled. I am just delighted at this, and I am just taking photo after photo after photo. And my wife is like nudging me and saying, "It's time to go." and I literally said to her, I said, "No, this is what we came here for." And so it wasn't until later that, reflecting upon my decision, that I realized that the claws of the Alaskan Zodiac there and the vinyl rubber-coated boat were not compatible. And so do you know how close he was when I took this photo? What would you guess? I had a 100 to 400 millimeter lens shooting at 100 millimeters. And he was about 15 feet away. Yeah, 15 feet. And I, for some crazy reason, maybe fooling me, because I remember that poor fellow and his girlfriend who actually got eaten out there, but I never for a moment felt fear. I don't know why that was, but he got that close, and he then saw what we were, right? And what we were people, and that's not his normal prey, and he turned around and he went on his way. And that was the end of the story. I had to shoot this 2 stops under because it was midnight and it was very, very dim light. And I needed that extra 2 stops of shutter speed to get this nice crisp image. I will show you that entire sequence of photos and what they really look like, because it was like so dark you could barely make out the bear in my original image. But as I said yesterday, you can reclaim a photo that is underexposed, post-production, and get that color back. But if you have the knowledge and you need that extra shutter speed boost, that's a great technique to employ. Here's another example of using a telephoto. Getting close to birds in flight is often very difficult, especially a prey bird. So here's a hawk. This is in my home. You can actually see some residences off in the background there. And this is in my driveway. And so here was my technique for photographing the shot. We have this very long driveway wrapping around this pond. And we have trees lining the driveway. And next to the trees are often support posts. And so these birds of prey, this is a red-tailed hawk, they'll land on these posts and they'll wait for field mice and other items to eat. And so when I see this, I'll get in my car and I'll roll down the window, and I'll have my camera set appropriately, and I'm getting closer and closer in my car. And I'm not so much afraid of the car, but at some point I'm close enough that they're ready to fly, take to the air. And so then I do that 11 frame burst, and you capture images that are pleasing images. Wild animals, getting close, being quiet, being in blinds sometimes. In Gardnerville, my hometown, I would set up a blind to photograph the eagles so I could get very close to them and not disturb what was going on. I think this is an ibis of some sort. I'm not a bird expert. But again, getting close, telephoto lens. You can use a telephoto lens to pull distant objects in close. So doesn't the sun look really big in this image? This is one of the effects of a telephoto lens. And I don't recall what the setting was at this time, how many millimeters I used. I can't actually look that up. But when you use a telephoto lens, it makes the sun appear much larger, because the sun is 93 million miles in back of that boat. And that boat is actually maybe half a mile away, some distance away. This was shot with a 600 millimeter lens, a beast of a lens. A lens that I hate because it's so heavy. I mean, it weighs, I don't know what it weighs, but it's like 10 pounds of glass and metal. And I hate carrying it around. I rarely carry it around. You absolutely have to have it on a tripod to use it. It's a tool, it has a purpose, but I certainly prefer a little bit more carefree photography. But again, to get an image this close on what was happening here, you needed something that could get way out there.